wearing a T-shirt that says "Never Made."
I believe him. I think he's telling the truth.
All right, guys, we got somebody new to Power Slap. He just won his first competition. He's also an amateur Muay Thai fighter. His name is Prince Sabedra, Esteban Sabedra. Esteban, how you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. Just, thank you for having me on your show in such a short notice, a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Well, that's what we like to do. As soon as we get the message, we like to, we like to get some, we like to go on with it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of Power Slap athletes, a lot of MMA athletes, that we got to cover. So if I could, I'll be doing this like back to back to back to back. So,
Uh,
so Prince, Esteban, tell me how you got called up to Power Slap.
um, I initially got called up to Power Slap um, just back in April. Or actually, Erica contacted me back in March via text, asking me if I was still interested, as I had been applying for Power Slap for almost 2 years. And, there was a point where I lived in Vegas for a bit, and I got to meet Dana in person at Red Rock Casino. I was gambling there I think I was there for like a good 2 hours, and I saw him pass by, and I kind of, stepped away from my table and, said what's up to him. Started talking about Azel, as Azel is my uncle, and we were
We had
talking about power.
Azael on.
Yes, I saw. So we started talking about it, and then I told him that, hey, like I submitted my application. I want to, join Power Step as well. Um, and then he's like, "Hey, do you think you can be here next week at the casino? Because I'm gonna come here, and I want you to meet somebody." And I'm like, "Sure, I'll come here. Is there any time?" He's like, "Oh, just come here later in the afternoon or late in the evening." So I went to the Red Rock Casino like around 7 p.m. and then finally like around 9, close pushing 10, he finally walks up, and then he recognized me immediately. I was gambling a little bit. He just came up to me, said what's up to me. He's like, "Oh, nice to meet you again, man. Nice to see you." And then he's like, "Hey, like come. I would like for you to meet somebody." And then that's when he introduced me to Erica and started talking with Erica. But then been applying and just never got a call until March, and got invited to the camp, and I performed at the camp, and finally got a call up 3 weeks right before the June 27th, and asked if I was still wanting to compete, and I ended up saying yes. I was like, "Don't even ask me, just it's an automatic yes for me." Like I've been training for over like almost 2 years, and then that's how I finally got into Power Slap. Just me continuing to apply and apply and apply, and
So
finally.
just to clarify, before you actually get a fight, you have to go through a camp?
Now, yes. Just because of how they want people to at least learn more of the rules, and work on their techniques, just because they don't want people. I mean, according to what they've been telling us new slappers, it's just they don't want to throw somebody into the open, stage without them knowing nothing. So at least that way they can have a better understanding of, getting the rules down, working on their techniques, working on their strike, and what is considered, fouls, or basic like stepping, clubbing, flinching. So I think that's why they've been creating these camps now.
So did Azael try to convince you to join, or were you telling Azael that you want to join?
I told Azel I wanted to join just because um when he faced John Davis for the second time, and it was there in Vegas at the Apex. I was during the time when I was kind of briefly living in Vegas, and he invited me because they or Power Slap gave him 2 free tickets to, because at that time it wasn't open to the public. It was just only for family and friends, or the slappers that they were inviting. And sorry, I got a notification on my phone. And so then that's when I saw the whole Power Slap thing, and I was kind of scoping out the 205 division, or the light heavyweight division, just because I kind of knew that that's where I wanted to be, and because Azal was competing at the middleweight division. and think that's when the mechanic faced some dude and just ended up with one shot. And I was like, oh yeah, this is something I can definitely do. I scoped some of the other, light heavyweights then, and I was like, yeah, definitely I'll be able to take these guys out. And ever since then, I've just been, applied and submitted application after application. Like every month, I was sending like 2 applications, honestly.
So, um, did you get in fights growing up?
But yes, I did get in a lot of fights, street fights and school fights. Uh,
How
but yeah.
how did that how did these experiences like get you to this point? I know you do Muay Thai too. Doesn't Azael do Muay Thai? Do you guys do that together?
We don't do it together. Well, from time to time before, sometimes we would go to the same class or sometimes go and spar, together. But we don't train at the same gyms or under the same coaches. We train under different, coaches. Um, but going back to your question, which was again the one before that. Sorry.
Yeah, going back to the last one was how did like your experiences growing up with fights and conflict shape you into where you are now?
Well, I mean, I would say it was just something that, I've always enjoyed doing was getting into school fights. I mean, there was a time where you know, I was a bully at school, and it was to the point where it was getting bad, I think, for my parents or for my mom, just because it was just where I would get in a fight, would get suspended for 3 days, come back for maybe to school for like 2, 3 hours, and then get into another fight, get suspended for another, 3 to 5 days, come back, and then get into another fight. So it was just a constant, just me getting into fights, you know.
Much of that was how much of that was your personality and how much of that was the environment you were in?
I think a lot of it was my personality, and then I think it could, like probably like about, I don't know, maybe 40, 60. But I mean, we kind of grew up in pretty bad environments or tough childhoods, or my childhood was a little bit more tougher than Azel's, but that's what kind of led, me into getting into more, street fights and everything.
Rafael's very close to you in age. Even though he's your uncle, he's very close to you in age. Is he but like is he like a big brother to you, or like how do you like what kind of relationship do you guys have?
Well, the thing is, because obviously my mom is the oldest of them. So my mom is his oldest sister, and my mom just never, taught us of like him calling him or his twin brother uncle or tío in Spanish. It was just Azael or Uriel, which is basically the other brother's name. Um, but I guess, yeah, you can say it as an older brother just because we just never, or my parents never like put those labels on. But like, it's strange because it's like everybody besides like my brothers and my sister also just call him by their first name. But then like my others or his other sisters, we all call them like tias or aunts. So it's just strange because it's like probably just because of the age difference or that we're so close in age, but like our parents just never put those labels on.
I love the family dynamic, honestly. And it's very interesting because I noticed that you guys are in the same field of work.
Yes, well, yes, we're in the same field. He does do more supervisor work or more stuff in the office work. I do more on field where I do go to families or clients' homes and do therapy or provide the services there at their houses, and he just kind of oversees like making sure that everything is running, smoothly. That I believe that making sure that um, group homes are like have meet standards and all that stuff. So, but we're different companies. We work in completely different companies.
Got it, got it. Now going back to you, this is your interview, so this is your episode. So I want to talk more about you. Um, I want to know. how did that fight go on the 13th? I know you won by decision, right? But your fight was part of the fights that we didn't have access to. I was actually at the event, but they didn't let us in for those fights.
Yeah.
So
So
can you
yes,
tell us what happened?
no, yes, of course. So yeah, on Power Slap 13, I was already very, confident on my with my opponent or just how my fight was gonna go. And honestly, like I was at the point where I was just like, mentally, I was like, I already have been preparing myself for this. I've been, putting in the work, submitting application right after application, and um, and honestly, I wasn't even worried about my opponent just because I had already seen his power. I already had met him at the camp. Like we were both at the same, train camp that they put us back in April. So I already, had seen how much power he was generating when they made us, hit the power cube. I already saw his neck strength because they did all those same things to with everybody, and then so leading to the fight, um, I was like my first thing was, I was gonna go in there and just do one slap and knock him out. But while I was warming up, honestly, like was watching his interviews over and over again and like hearing them on my AirPods, and I was warming up and he was just talking like it was just nonstop, like talking, just saying like how he was gonna, fuck me up, that it was gonna be inevitable for him to, kick my ass and everything else. And then after that, that's when I kind of like a little switch flipped on me and I was like, you know what? Honestly, I'm not gonna go in there and knock him out because then most likely he's gonna start saying that, it was a lucky shot or something. So then that's when I switched my mind and I was like, I'm just gonna go there and fuck him up. And that's basically what I did. Like honestly, very first lap, I ended up cutting up his cheek open. Um, and honestly, it was pretty bad for him. Like I felt like he was gonna be, drinking smoothies for a good week. But uh, going first lap, I ended up winning the coin toss. I go there, slap him, kind of wobbled him a little bit, you know. I, I, I don't think he was expecting me to hit as hard as I was hitting him. And then, so then, it was his turn to slap me. And then by then, just because of how I already knew how much power he was bringing to the table and everything, and I already had seen his slap, I already had, you know, seen how much power. I honestly like was super comfortable enough to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna brace. I'm not gonna bite down on my mouthpiece. I'm just gonna let him hit me. That way he can feel like there's like he has some hope. And that's what basically I did. He gave me his first slap, and possibly on camera it might look like he freaking like wobbled or rattled me, but honestly, it was just like, you know, just because was just so completely like just relaxed up there. And, I'm kind of, turn around. The refs are like trying to catch me, but I'm just like, I'm fine, like I still have the, the stick on my hand, and I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And then I just like literally just turn around, put powder in my hands. Like they didn't even like ask me to step, in front of them or do the side steps. They saw me, that was like completely fine, put powder in my hand. And then, so that goes for my second slap. And then I go up there and then hit him a little bit harder, kind of wobbled him a little bit more, and after that, it's his turn to hit me, and that's when I started. I was like, okay, I already felt his power. Like honestly, doesn't have any that much power. Like I literally gave him a free shot, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start biting down on my mouthpiece, and I'm gonna start bracing now. I'm gonna plant my feet on the ground now. He hits me as hard as he could, does not even budge me at all. And I was just like, after that, like literally, I have the piece on the stick on my hand. I'm like, is that it? Is all you got, man? Like, come on, man. Like I honestly thought you were gonna hit me harder than that. Uh, so then finally, third round comes. Put powder on my hand again, and that's when I hit him. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna try and end this right now. But then by then, he was like, I kind of argued a little bit with the refs because the whole time, all three rounds, when he was bracing, he was just kind of like propped up like a turtle, like this the whole time. And I complained, telling him like, dude, like what the fuck, like you're gonna let him do that? Like he's hiding his whole goddamn neck like this. But the refs like, oh, he's fine. I'm like. all right, whatever, like I didn't want to continue arguing with the refs. So then by then, that's when I kind of threw my hardest, um, and I actually felt it like on the palm of my like hand, and that's when he kind of like looked like he was about to fall down. I did rattle him really good right there, but he ended up, being able to find his feet, and after that, third round came, he hits me, doesn't rattle me or nothing, just doesn't move me. Just I'm just like again, like, is that it? Like I'm like laughing at him and I'm like, what's up with all those biceps that you were trying to like show off? What are those muscles good for if you can't even use them? Um, but then yeah, I mean after that, I could say, I went to war with them, and honestly, I think I was able to, shut people up of what they were expecting of the fight, how to turn out, just because I already knew that a lot of people were thinking that the other dude was gonna like knock me out cold or he was gonna win, but it turned out to be the complete opposite.
Do you find yourself in underdog positions a lot in life?
I would say yes, just because of like my weight and my height, basically as like for example, the dude that I was facing, he was 6'3", I'm 5'10". So I mean, there was a big height difference there. I think what is it like 5 inches right there? So
Yeah, yeah.
so I mean, so a lot of people were really thinking that the guy was gonna knock me out, on the one shot, and turns out to be the complete opposite.
Well, what's next after this? After you won the fight, did they give you any sort of info?
They gave me a 21-day suspension just because of like the fight, so I cannot compete for 21 days. But that 21 days been over now, uh,
What fight?
or the match.
Why did they suspend you?
That's still what they do. The commission suspends everybody for 21 days.
Got it.
That way, just because of they don't want, injuries or stuff like that.
Got it. I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So far right now, I don't know what's going on for me next. I honestly was impressed that they put me in the rankings now in the light heavyweight division, considered number 10 now. Um,
Nice.
so honestly, I want, somebody in the rankings. Honestly, I've been hungry for a shot. Like honestly, even before I got called up, I've honestly wanted a fight or wanted a match for the number 10, against the number 10. But, I even like messaged him at one point, letting him know, like, hey, like I've been hungry for this shit, like just want to let you know that, if I do get called up, like just be ready, be prepared because I've been fucking hungry for this shit for over 2 years. And he was just like, "Oh, let's get it, big dog." He was, kind enough to and respectful. But I don't know if if they're overseeing him or not, just because I think he hasn't had a match in like over a year. But so far right now, I do want somebody in the rankings. I want maybe, you know, six,
You think
7, 8.
you think you have what it takes to be number one?
At this point, who's number one?
The
It's the
champs.
Mech. Well, Vern Cathy's number one. Oh yeah, definitely. Fucking kick his ass easily. Fucking I think there's a picture of that I posted on Instagram too of him and and I knew easily I would be able to take him out.
is that is that based on technical knowledge you have, or is that based on just self belief?
It's just from my background. I mean, I I've been, I participated in combat sports as well. So I mean, it's just something that I already know that I do have a chin, and that's something that I was able to prove, on match day. I was able to, give him a free shot. Was He wasn't able to put me down? Okay, then I'm like, all right, now let's see. Like I really want to feel your power now. Now that I'm like gonna start bracing everything, and did not whack me or he did not move me at all, and I'm like, that was like, I believe the weight of me showing, the judges or the people in the power slap, the matchmakers, that like, okay, I do got a chin. I can come back and still deliver, good solid blows. Um, and I think that's what I was able to prove on my match day.
Because Power Slap is so young, um, the rules are also ever changing, and training techniques and preparation and just technique in general, it's still new, it's still very young. Do you feel like this knowledge, people are very secretive of their Power Slap knowledge, technique wise?
Well, there's not really much secretive things to delivering a slap, I believe. Um, but I don't think anybody's keeping secrets, in my opinion.
So as you said, when you were taking the slap, you didn't really brace. You were chilling. Is that like the game plan
Well, it was
from
just
now
the game.
on?
That was just the game plan for that day, just because I already had seen him. I was there with him at the same training camp, and I already knew he wasn't, much power forward. He wasn't bringing much power to the table. That dude, obviously, he looked much bigger than me, but I already like. I think it's all. He was all for looks.
Yeah.
Um, but at the end of the day, it was just like he didn't bring that much power to the table. So, and it was just something that I kind of, went over with my Muay Thai striking coach because he did put me through a camp leading to fight or match week. Um, and he was telling me like, oh, don't even like bite down on your mouth. You kind of gotta let it kind of be loose because obviously I still continue to go and spar like at least 2 to 3 times a week. It's like, oh, why do you think like when you spar, are you like constantly biting on your mouthpiece? I'm like, no. It's like, yeah, you just kind of like just barely like bite on it, and that's kind of what I tried to doing on the very first round. But then like it moved as the way that I had molded it, and it kind of cut me just a little, like very slightly from inside my cheek. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, whatever. I'm not gonna listen to my coach anymore. Like, because I was still thinking on the things he was telling me, as I was walking up to the stage or to the podium, to deliver that to get slapped. But then after that, that's when I switched gears and started biting down, started bracing, and that's where dude couldn't even move me at all. Like I was just completely glued to the ground.
How often would you like to fight?
I mean, honestly, I would like to be put on the October 3rd, or what is it, October 2nd, or even in the
In
Abu Dhabi
Vegas.
in Vegas, or in Abu Dhabi. That would be nice. I have my passport ready for whenever they call me up. You know, I think my passport needs to a couple more stamps in order for me to go ask for new pages. So, I mean, I'm ready for either event.
You're well traveled?
Before, yes. Um, so now I've kind of slowed down on my traveling just because life happens and, I've kind of been kind of settling a little bit more down now.
Are
But
you
when I was younger, yes, there was a point where I did live in Germany,
hmm,
and was constantly traveling to Turkey back and forth,
hmm.
um, and to Europe too. So,
Cool, cool. And like when you look back at your career, right? After all of it's said and done, what do you want from Power Slap?
I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to make a name for myself, a lot of people say like, "Oh, I got a big shoes to fill up," just because of my family member being in the sport. But I'm just like, that's him, that's not. I'm like, I'm not trying to make, my legacy or my name, similar to his. That's what he's trying to do. I'm trying to, go my own little route. That's why like even we don't even train together, or like sometimes we'll weight lift together, but like we don't like go and spar or go to the same striking coaches. But besides that, it's just try and get my name out there, just you know recognizable, and possibly if they do create a power slap hall of fame, be in that.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. I hope all your dreams come true, man. Are you an active UFC fan?
Yes, I am. I just haven't kept up that much with it. As because of the shirt.
Yeah, yeah. I was just wondering, all the Power Slap athletes love UFC,
No,
obviously.
yes, it's just where I train. It's the UFC gym, and then sometimes I'll just buy a couple shirts from there, and that's
Was
it.
that Chula Vista?
No, it's up in Point Loma.
Point Loma. Okay, cool. All right, well, Esteban, I really appreciate you taking the time today and doing this show. It's been fun talking to you. Is there something you want to leave the fans with?
Follow me on Instagram and shout out to Seagulls Bagel Mania, for hooking me up last time I was out there in Vegas. And if you guys want to, gain at least 20 pounds, this is the spot to go. Bagel Mania,
All
best
right, for
food in
sure.
town.
I'll stay away from that spot. 20 more
You got
pounds, I
some.
might pop, bro. 20 more pounds, I might pop. Anyway, all right, guys. This is Prince Sabedra. Follow him. What's your at, Prince Sabedra?
Yes, Prince Sabedra.
All right, at Prince Sabedra. All right, guys. Well, keep your eye out for him. He's coming. He doesn't have a fight scheduled yet, but pretty soon, hopefully here. Thank you, Esteban. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, thank you, man.
Wearing a T-shirt that says "Never made."
I believe him. I think he's telling the truth.